It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And this week we're reviewing The Batman. Bum, bum, bum. Disney Plus gets The Defenders this month. Confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking a ride on the Bullet Train. Pew, pew, pew. And more. That's not what Bullet Train means.
Pew, pew. Yeah, we just came off of our recording for the spoiler cast for The Batman, so we are primed and ready to talk to you about all the news this week. But also, I feel like there's always so much pressure, right, when we're talking about films, when we're reviewing them, because I feel like we're kind of putting a somewhat definitive opinion out there in the world, right? So it's kind of nice transitioning into the news episodes where we can kind of just be fools and just like talk about things with kind of like out any real repercussions. You know, we can always like very tastefully backpedal over a couple of weeks if we feel like the opinion we put down wasn't very good, right?
Well, I think that's the thing. We can change our opinion. It's a podcast, Mike. We're not recording in stone, if you will, thankfully. But I mean, it's fun. I always enjoy the review episodes. I'm sad we haven't got to do nearly as many as we had been doing. They do take more time on our end, but it's still fun to do them. And you know, Batman is always such a hot topic. He's just so hot right now, Mike. So hot.
And ironically, I'm sure that there's lots of Batman clothing at Hot Topic. This Robert Pattinson has already been in a Hot Topic plenty of times on Twilight T-shirts. So now he's back as Batman.
My friend, one of my friends I was out with this weekend showed up Friday with a Twilight T-shirt on. And he wore that, and then on Saturday he changed into a Shania Twain T-shirt. So I love Matt. Matt's got such a great style. I hope he's listening to this. But it's totally
fun. Unironically, not just watching it just so I can make jokes of it. I have never seen any of the Twilight movies, but it is such a big part of kind of like pop culture out there. I feel like I should just watch them, and I do kind of just want to watch them, just put them on in the background just so I can like understand what people have been like talking about for like the last like 10 years.
It's funny you mentioned that because a couple of weeks ago, another podcast I listened to started, they were like, hey, we're going to do Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight reviews. It's that Caravan of Garbage stuff we've talked about before. But instead of doing that, they literally like, we gotcha, we're doing Twilight. So they did 5 episodes on all the Twilight movies instead of the Batman. And people were kind of like, I guess some people were pissed off at the first one. I was like, that's a pretty good joke. Like, they're instead of doing Batman, they're doing Robert Pattinson Twilight walkthrough, and they neither of them had watched it, so it was funny like hearing them watch it every week and we come back. So I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but if you're looking for something to do, like just to laugh at while you're doing it, I think that'd be a good time to step back into time, back in the 10 years ago, 15 years ago when Twilight was huge and taken off, and just permeating pop culture. Because Robert Pattinson, he's come a long way. I watched him in Tenet. What was it, the Lighthouse a couple years ago? I mean, he's come a long way since his Cedric Diggory days in Harry Potter and Twilight days. So
that's right. He was in the Goblet of Fire.
That's right.
But if you're looking for some new content to watch, maybe something that's not legacy fantasy content.
So this is funny because this is on my watch list to watch right as soon as we get done with this already.
Oh, gotcha.
This is fantastic.
There is a brand new show on HBO Max called Our Flag Means Death from a podcast favorite creator, Taika Waititi.
Yes.
This is a show that I think is somewhat rooted in historical fiction about a kind of fancy man who decides to become a pirate in, I think it's 1717, which is kind of like the kind of era of pirates. So, Chris, since you haven't seen it yet, I won't really spoil anything. But there's 3 episodes available on HBO Max. It's a half-hour comedy, and Taika Waititi does make an appearance, which he's on like the marketing materials, and I'm sure I never saw a trailer for it, but I'm sure he's in the trailer as well.
He is in the trailers. They've been playing. HBO Max doesn't count that as quote unquote advertising because it's its own content, but I've seen it pop up on there. And he did direct the first episode as well. He didn't create the show, he didn't write it, but he did direct that first one and does play the character. I instantly knew Rhys Darby as soon as I saw him in the trailer. I'm like, I love Rhys Darby. Like he is fantastic, right? Like he's Fly to the Conchords. What's that?
He was in
Jumanji.
the original. He was also in the original What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows. Yep, he's one of the characters. But he's the narrator in the Jumanji movies. And then you watched Guns Akimbo. He's the homeless guy in Guns Akimbo.
Oh yeah,
he living in the street. He's pretty funny in that one. But I absolutely, he's just a fantastic New Zealand comedian who just everything he does I just have to watch because he's just so funny. Everything he does.
I don't know how many episodes that this first season is going to get. My guess would be low, but 6. at the end of the third episode, they do kind of a sneak peek at episodes 4 through 6. So I'm assuming that is a sneak peek at the rest of the season. So
it's releasing literally across 2 weeks. So the first 3 were March 3rd, the next 3 are March 10th.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like you'll want to jump on board of this, pun intended, because it's a pirate boat pretty soon before this is kind of done and out of the water.
Yeah.
But yeah,
literally
we watched
out of the water.
We watched the first 3 episodes, had a good time. So looking forward to Thursday to catching the other 3, the second half, I guess.
Yeah, the back half. Yeah, I'm excited to watch it. We were also talking about Fly to the Conchords this weekend. So that's good to see he's out. Really being he's the main actor, right? You'd say in this one.
Yeah, he's the main character.
So I'm thrilled to watch it. That's actually on my to watch list. So glad you got to get a chance with that. Then I've been talking to you. I've been taking my VR to the next level, Mike. I've been using my PC to emulate or to play the VR games and stream to my portable headset, which is one of the Oculus features. You don't have to buy the Rift that's always connected to the PC. You can use the Quest to stream off the computer. And I got to do Rock Band VR for like an hour or 2 this week in what little downtime I had. And it is by far one of the most mediocre games I've ever played. And I think I said this as much to you. I'm like, it's just okay. You don't see the buttons. You don't play like you would Rock Band. You're just supposed to like strum and like rhythm to the song and just press buttons and like patterns like back and forth. And to me, like, there's the point of it. It kind of got boring after like 3 songs in the tutorial, which was kind of sad. So I can't recommend this to anybody who tried it. But there's apparently a air guitar game for VR that actually tracks where your hands are. Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. It kind of sounds like Rock Band VR is just like air guitar simulator.
Well, you actually with Rock Band VR, you have to have an actual Rock Band guitar hooked up to it to use it. So I do. So you have that and you do it. It's fine, but it's just it's not like you don't get credit for hitting the notes in the right order, actually playing the song how you should play it, which is a bummer because Rock Band's a staple over here. Rock Band / Guitar Hero. We all love them here. We played some of that after we did the VR in the house, just to just kind of blow off some steam. It's just a fun co-op game. We always put on no fail mode and just let it roll. So always a good time. But not much else. The Batman 3-hour movie took up most of my week, so I had to work everything else around this. And then I spent this weekend playing board games with friends for our annual convention, if you will. It's called PribsCon, and I don't know where this came from. You can't ask me. We don't sell tickets yet. Maybe next year, Mike, you can come. We'll have it. We'll get you a professional pass or a press pass. You can come.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
But we play board games. A lot of people there. We played a lot of board games. A lot of good ones. One of them I really enjoyed. It was called something of the Merchants of the Dark Road. A lot of setup in this game, but very easy to play. Really enjoyed it. I'll probably talk more about it later. But we are a superhero news show. I want to get into superhero news, which is very, very light when a huge movie comes out, right, Mike? This feels very similar to when Spider-Man came out, because you're like, no one is going to compete with this. Like, you're not going to take Spider-Man out of the spotlight, right? So the Batman came out this week, and we just did our review. So we can probably go into our spoiler-free reviews about this, Mike, if you want to, dive into this now in theaters movie.
Yeah, for now on, for the rest of my life, watching a new Batman movie is going to be a meta experience as opposed to how it was when I was a child, right? Batman has been interpreted so many different ways on the screen now. He's just become a different creature compared to other comic book and superhero movies. So I feel like I can kind of come at it from almost a, it's going to sound so pretentious, but almost like an intellectual view, right? Of like, oh, how is this director going to interpret this character now?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the next couple decades to see all of the different interpretations of the Batman. But as I can say for now, in this current decade, I'm enjoying what's happening. I thought the performances in the Batman were great. Robert Pattinson, I think, is a great addition to the cape and cowl. I'm looking forward to see what he'll be doing in subsequent movies. We talked at length of the supporting characters in our spoiler cast, and I think that's well deserved because there's lots of great performances. But not only is there a lot of characters in this movie, there is a lot of runtime. So if I had to kind of pick one particular sticking moment for this movie, it would be the runtime. I think if we could find a way to trim this movie down a little bit, I think I would be more evangelical about kind of preaching the praises of the Batman. But overall, I thought it was a great film. Matt Reeves came at it with a perspective and a direction that made it feel more unique than some of the other superhero movies that we've had in a while. And yeah, I'm looking forward for the train to keep moving. I don't know if I can quite say the same thing for maybe the HBO Max spinoffs that may or may not come from it, because I think that'll kind of be maybe a different flavor. But overall, I would say overwhelmingly positive on the Batman. Chris, what about you? Spoiler free.
Spoiler free. I think we talked. I'm a little more lukewarm. I think this overall actor's fantastic. Beautifully shot, beautifully looking film. Sounds great. I just feel like the writing leaves a lot to be desired. I think for me, if I'm looking forward to anything, is the inevitable sequel, right? Where can we take this? Where can we go now that we've got this kind of out of the way? It's not an origin story, by any means, but like I want to know what's next and what we can expect, because it's always fun to see a character arc and evolution, right? And like as you mentioned, Batman's not going anywhere. They probably got Robert Pattinson for the next 5 to 10 years at the least. So what's the next step? What's the growth of this? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Because I think to me it's a lot like Wonder Woman, right? Enjoyed the first Wonder Woman, really really good interpretation, great journey. But then when you let the director have too much, in 1984 came out and it's just a shit show. This movie is very much, as we said, the director has free reign to do what he wanted in this movie, and he did by a long shot. I cannot fault him for that. It is very much what Matt Reeves wanted to do. But I'm hopefully that smarter heads prevail, and if he has the same control and opportunities in the second one, it doesn't go Wonder Woman 1984 on us. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about here. Overall, again, I still say people need to watch this in theaters. This is something you want to experience in the theaters. The way it's shot, the lighting, the sound, everything comes together very well. Like this movie is not an accident, right, Mike? Like everything, all the physical components of this movie, all of the technical aspects are perfect, but it does suffer. And the story might help if it was tightened up a little bit, or answer some questions I think I posed in the spoiler filled review that's also in our thing if you listen to it. But overall, I'm lukewarm on the Batman. Not my favorite, not the worst by any means. I'm glad I got to watch it. Was glad I got to see it in theaters and IMAX, and I hope everybody else gets the opportunity to watch it shortly as well. And to prove how popular it is, it's already made $250 million around the world in 1 weekend. So I think it's fair to say we are going to get another Batman movie from Matt Reeves. Mike, what do you think? It's pretty safe to say.
The writing is on the wall, as they would say.
Yeah, literally. And I agree. Excuse me for a second there. The ancillary characters are huge in this movie. We already know about Catwoman. We know about the Penguin. But apparently, I'm going to jump into our next bit of news here, Mike. Not trying to speed through it, but like the Penguin spin-off show originally started as the Batman sequel. I say originally because who knows what that's turned into now? Is it a prequel for the Penguin? The Penguin. Is it still a sequel? Is it separate? Like are they evolving these spin-off shows, including Gotham PD / now it's like Arkham or Catwoman, based on how people are reacting to the movie, or what plans the sequels now hold? I mean, they've probably written the sequel like outline at least on a napkin somewhere.
I think the one thing that I can say for sure, no spoilers, but after watching the Batman, I don't want to go backwards, right? I don't need to go back. I don't want to see the origin story of the Penguin, even though I believe Colin Farrell had an amazing performance as the Penguin in the movie. Yeah. I want to push forward, right? I want to go forward. We don't even have a whole lot to go back on when it comes to the Batman, because we do know that this is a year 2 early on Robert Pattinson Batman. So we know if we're going back further, we're not going to be seeing any Batman in the Penguin. And I'm not even necessarily expecting to see the Batman in any of these HBO Max spinoff shows. But that's just kind of my prequel-itis always in the base of my skull, right? I don't necessarily want to go back, especially since mainly what we've been seeing so far in this Pattinson universe is just a lot of mobster stuff, right? And I don't think that stuff is particularly interesting. I don't want to see how somebody became like a crime lord or open up a club or anything like that. Let's move forward to things that are a little bit more compelling.
Yeah, I think that begs the I'm going to liken this to Peacemaker. Right? Is the Penguin spinoff similar to the Peacemaker spinoff, right? Like
I mean, that's a good way to think about it.
Because we didn't really care for Peacemaker, we asked why. Then you get a spinoff show, really good spinoff show, but like it also used minute flashbacks in the show without being, a prequel, right? And built the character going forward, which was really cool. So are they using, the success of Peacemaker and the Penguin going forward to show us something new? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Peacemaker seems penguins? I mean, that is kind of curious, right? At what point in time will we see an armored penguin with a rocket launcher at any point in time? I don't think so, based on the kind of universe that we've been revealed.
Is his pet name Penguiny, like Eagle was Penguiny?
Oh,
no, it's bad.
Always got to be a bird somewhere, something flying. Maybe there's a clue that we can talk about with things that fly with wings. But the Penguin, I can definitely say this for sure. I did not care about this spinoff at all, but after seeing the Batman, I care a little bit more. I don't think I'll be rushing to HBO Max at midnight to watch when the first episode drops, but I'll be there to check it out.
If it truly is to tie into Gotham and tie into what's coming in the Batman as a whole, I would love to see that, right? Like, that's what the Penguin and all these spinoff shows need to do. They don't just need to be fractured little bits that don't tie back in at the end of the day, right? They need to come in and coalesce to where hopefully the Batman 2 or whatever they call it actually feels the results of these shows after they've aired for a season or two in between the movie productions. And I don't need Colin Farrell, I'm sure, wants to probably not be in his makeup to be the Penguin all day to be in these shows, so hopefully that's not why. If they do a prequel, that's why, just to show him skinny and then gain the weight.
No, it's just going to be the first episode is going to be like 12 months later, and it's going to be the Penguin getting off a Stairmaster, and it just looks like Colin Farrell.
It's just Colin Farrell. Yeah, exactly. And that guy has come a long way in superhero roles. Remember when he was Bullseye?
Yeah,
with against the other Batman, Ben Affleck. I mean, woof, man. I would love to just do one of those little thought webs of actors who have played superheroes and multiple ones and how they all connect at the end of the day. So overall I think the Penguin, I agree with you. I thought it was not a fun idea, but after watching what is in the movie and how the acting is and everything, I think it's got some potential, and it just needs to be more than, like you said, hey, I'm opening up an underground club, which is a front for laundering money at the end of the day, kind of thing, because that's no fun.
And maybe, honestly, that's how this show got greenlit to begin with. Maybe there was never an idea of a Penguin TV show until they saw Colin Farrell in the makeup, in the costume, on day 2 of shooting, and they're like, he is really killing it. He could probably carry his own show, and then maybe that's when it gets brought up the ladder.
Yeah, I really like him, and this is a spoiler because this is in the trailer, in the car chase scene. I think that's really, really fun. So And that's not even the end of the character in the movie. It's really, really fun what he does throughout. So I'm down with this. Let's get some more news. Let's get it into production. I'm tired of talking about it. Let's get it going, folks. Let's start rolling cameras. Lights, camera, action. Batgirl back in the news yet again. I feel like we're getting Batgirl news every week at this point. This isn't a bad thing because take a look at this very, very close-up photo of Brandon Fraser, or at least his stunt person, in the Firefly costume on set here. We saw him.
Yeah, that is straight up a PA on set got their phone out when they weren't supposed to, or somebody's iCloud got leaked, or something happened here, because this is not a telephoto lens shot.
No, this is like some person like right next to him taking the photo. He's on the back of a fire truck, obviously. There's also some other ones of this. I think it's like a darker suit. It looks like more like the ones like when they're actually using the fire, like the burn suits or whatever, flame retardant. But like, this looks pretty close to Firefly, what I would imagine the Firefly outfit translated from comic books and video games to real life would look like, right? He's got the tanks of stuff on his back, the flamethrower wrists, the big mask with the breather, and the old-timey, scuba eyes on it. So it looks pretty good. I've got no qualms here. Mike, anything you want to add to it? I mean,
yeah, I think now's the time to maybe see a couple more set photos of Batgirl in the costume, right? We had the official kind of PR released photo. So now give us the set photos where there's wires and stunt suits and everything. I'm looking forward to those.
We've had Batman, we've had the Commissioner Gordon and Firefly, but like very little Batgirl. So, or it's Batgirl, right? Yeah, Batgirl. So, bring on the Batgirl. Let's see what else is going on. I want to see what's up with this. This is getting HBO Max in probably December of this year. So, thrilled to step back into the DC universe. A small trailer for a property that's been delayed a couple years by now is DC League of Super Pets, hit earlier this week. And while there's really nothing new in it, the biggest detail is Keanu Reeves is voicing Batman in this show, in this movie. I don't think the heroes are going to have many lines, right? Like early on, they're like kidnapped or brainwashed pretty early on, and it's just the pets who are going to have most of the movie, right? So
this kind of feels like similar casting news when we learned that Nick Cage was going to be kind of noir Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Kind of taking these iconic actors and kind of just putting them in like voice roles of kind of silly superhero characters. So I'm okay with this type of casting. This is always fun.
Yep. And John Krasinski is Superman, playing opposite that. And didn't Nicolas Cage also voice Superman in Teen Titans Go to the Movies?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because he was supposed to play Superman in the 90s because they had those really awkward photos of him doing that. So, yeah, I mean, Keanu Reeves voicing Batman, that's just going to be a fun time. I think I wouldn't say this is going to be a sleeper movie of the year, but this is definitely something that's going to be really fun to watch and have a lot of references that you normally can't make in a live action film along the way. Will I see it in theaters? I don't know, but very, very excited to see what comes of it. Finally, Mike, after all this time, Disney Plus is getting a cheaper version. I didn't think $7 was expensive, but apparently they're doing an ad-supported, cheaper version of the streaming service later this year. As a long-time subscriber, my 3 years isn't even up yet until October, November this year. I will not be going to the commercial version of Disney Plus.
Oh, God, no. This honestly just feels like a safety net plan, right? They are going to be raising their prices at some point in time. And probably like every streaming service, they always seem to raise it like $1 every other year. So this will be a little bit of like a safety net of like, if we feel like we're going to lose maybe a couple subscriptions, maybe we'll catch a few in this cheaper ad-supported version. We have ad-supported Peacock and ad-supported Paramount Plus, and not all ad-supported streaming services are alike, because on Peacock we just get like a nice kind of unintrusive like 30-second commercial break occasionally, right? And usually the commercials are just for Peacock, so you kind of feel like insulated in the streaming service. But Paramount Plus ad-supported might as well just be cable. seriously, you're getting like 120-second commercial breaks, multiple commercials for like just random prescriptions and stuff like that. So I could not earnestly recommend the ad-supported version of Paramount Plus. So when Halo comes out, probably go ahead and just splurge for the ad-free version.
It's funny when you told me that earlier this week when we were texting. I was like, I don't remember watching commercials on mine, but apparently I've had the ad-free version ever since I joined Paramount Plus. Back when it was like CBS All Access and like the final days of the merger or whatever. And I was like sitting there, I'm like, I don't know if I've been watching this because my wife really like, she's on a Fairly Odd Parents kick right now on there. So I was very concerned I'd been missing commercials or whatever, like that had been on. But apparently we don't have that. However, I did cancel my Peacock paid subscription today, so I never watched it other than using it for the Super Bowl. So that is what I'm thinking there. However, Disney Plus, I feel the content we get on there is quality. I don't want an ad in the middle of my WandaVision, right? Like when I'm watching Moon Knight, don't give me an ad. Like let's watch the whole thing without it. So pretty excited for that. However, this does feel like me like, does this not feel like it's kind of transitioning to like Disney Plus like version of Hulu? Like, isn't that how Hulu is there's ad supported regular version? Mind you, content's different, but like, do you think it's a test because they might merge Disney Plus and Hulu together down the road? Like, is that something on your radar?
That very well could be a possibility. Also, the funny thing about Hulu is that is like this interesting legacy streaming service that Hulu kind of stepped up to bat not long after Netflix started playing in the streaming service, and Hulu was like, you can get us for free. All you have to do is watch a couple of ads. And I think there's still a large portion of people out there that don't even realize you can get a commercial-free version of Hulu. So there's some diehard Hulu fans out there that I think would be very, very confused one day when they open it up and see that like, this is going to be transitioning into Disney Plus in like a couple of months. Well, right?
I'm gonna beg to differ on that because
not in a couple of months from today, but in that hypothetical scenario, they would give a couple months lead time.
America is the only country, I believe, with Hulu. Everywhere, or at least as a separate company, because everywhere else they launched Disney Plus and Star, which is their Hulu, which is where all their adult stuff lives. So I feel like it's, for us, like you mentioned, it's a legacy thing, right? It launched in 2007. Some people still watch they have like live TV on there, right? On Hulu. I don't have a subscription, but I think you get Hulu with live TV.
Yeah, it's similar to kind of like YouTube TV.
But I would not be surprised if Disney's like, look, every other country except America, we have it as one app with an extended price. Like, why not? Let's just merge it all together so we don't have to pay for two companies at the end of the day, and kind of make that. Because right now, I believe, I pull up their wiki page real fast. Walt Disney owns 67% stake in it, and NBC owns 33%. Yeah, and NBC has Peacock to their stuff now.
And just last week, NBC announced that it was going to be canceling its streaming contracts of their content with Hulu. So it'll probably take, maybe a TV season to kind of go through that and any other kind of contracts that are still outstanding. But for example, we watch NBC content like the sitcom American Auto. We watch that on Hulu right now. Now we have Peacock as well, but we could watch it there, but we just happen to watch it on Hulu. So that means probably season 2 of American Auto will not be on Hulu. It does seem like they are starting to divest from it.
Yeah, NBC's going starting this September. Actually, they will start pulling content. So
I mean, if I was an executive,
soon. Yeah.
I mean, if I was an executive over at Peacock or Comcast, NBC, Universal, whatever conglomerate you want to call it, I would say like, hey, this might not be a bad idea to possibly sell our stake in Hulu to Disney, get a big chunk of change, and use that money to make exclusive content for Peacock. Let's see if we can make a game changer, make the next Mandalorian, the next Game of Thrones, the next whatever, so we can kind of get people stuck to Peacock and keep it more of a kind of a premium streaming service.
Yeah, pick and choose. And I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Disney Plus is preparing to just add, instead of Star, it's Disney Plus with Hulu is the third option, or another option right next to was it National Geographic, the one I'd never click. So I really wouldn't be surprised if that's where it's going to go. They'll raise the price and like, hey, it's gone up $2 or $3, but you get Hulu now with it as well, because they have that bundle package with ESPN, right, that you can get. So the other reason this is the news was finally confirmed this week that the Defenders left their home on Netflix this week and are now going to Disney Plus. Now, this is, you might be asking yourself, Chris, Mike, this makes total sense. Why would they not go to Disney Plus? This content on these shows is not meant for kids, and prior to this announcement, all content on Disney Plus has been PG-13 or lower. This TVMA stuff, again, we mentioned like the sex scenes in Jessica Jones, the brutal fights and deaths in Daredevil and Punisher, right? Like they are not stuff you normally see on Disney Plus. So on March 18th, they're going to Disney Plus. So I think this they're adding new parental controls to this. So I feel like they're prepping themselves to turn American Disney Plus into what every other country Disney Plus is, right? So you have like your kid content, and then you'll have your adult parental controls to prevent the other stuff. So you can literally watch everything in one app rather than multiple homes along the way. There was a Disney Plus promo this week that highlighted Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage, but not Iron Fist. So I can tell I like whoever's running this already. They got good taste, but
yeah, no surprise there. I'm curious to see how these characters, if and will, how they'll pop up, right? Narratively, they've kind of wrapped up, Daredevil and Jessica Jones a little bit over at Netflix. They kind of saw the self-imposed finish line from Netflix Disney pop up, and they try to wrap their kind of character arcs up. So I think we've mentioned this before. If we see these characters popping up again, or these actors again in the MCU, they'll probably be more supplementary and not necessarily an addition.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I think if Daredevil gets his own again, but I don't see Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, or Iron Fist getting their own either. They may show up in his show, but I don't think they get their own along the way. But hopefully maybe they are, ancillary to possibly other things like the Echo show, right? We've talked about that being very, very set in the real world. But yeah, I think, all this tying together, Disney Plus, I think within 2 to 5 years, at most 5 years, will be probably gone. Disney Plus will live, Hulu will be gone, and we will see probably a new Disney Plus or Disney strategy on their streaming apps.
Oh, it's funny to imagine Pam and Tommy on Disney Plus, since Tommy Lee's penis comes to life and is voiced by Jason Mantzoukas.
Yeah,
so that'll be a fun day.
They said they couldn't stop laughing when they were filming that scene. Apparently,
not surprised.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop up here, justwatch.com, Mike, and see actually where is that streaming overall. I know it's Hulu, right? Where is it in possible other countries? Streaming in the United States. So let's pick another country. Where would we say? England, maybe? Great Britain?
Yeah. Or like Australia, possibly.
I don't. Australia's up there, alphabetical. It's on Disney Plus in Australia. So
Pam and Tommy is.
Yep, yeah, because they have the star version, like that star choice.
Okay, gotcha.
United Kingdom on Disney Plus, for us it sounds weird, but like everyone else has been like, yeah, we've been doing this for years, kind of thing already. So, and here's Hulu. So yeah, I'm interested to see. It would take a lot of people adjusting to that, but however, honestly, Mike, if I could be completely transparent here, which I always am, one app instead of two is way easier for me to remember where to watch stuff at. So I don't know, that's just my thoughts. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, we are less than 2 months away. Did you know that? Or 2 months away today even, from this movie. So very, very excited to dive into this and get the stuff. So the IMAX trailer and the cut to IMAX released. However, they have cut a lot of the action scenes to look different. So I can't get a good shot of like, oh, is that Captain Marvel or a different Iron Man in like the scene? They've even obscured, obviously, what is Professor X a little more. Like they've zoomed in a little bit and like blurred him a bit to obscure stuff. So like it's funny to watch these trailers re-release for different formats, then be cut based on what the internet's reaction is, right? Like, oh my gosh, we have these people, internet sleuths, diving into, the trailers, but like,
if we're going to be giving people, this bigger aspect ratio, we gotta cut back a little bit.
Yeah, I will say there's one thing in here I didn't notice until I got to this version of it. Do you know the scene where they're flying and they Doctor Strange and America Chavez fly past the T-Rex and the dinosaurs?
Mm-hmm.
Like the next one they break into is literally an animated universe, like the star shape breaks into an animated traffic cone and other stuff universe. So do you think he would go through the end of the Spider-Verse kind of thing, or like maybe
that would be wild? Like
what if Spider-Ham is like on the other side? I think that would be very, very funny. I mean, I say funny, but like that'd be a fun little Easter egg at the end of the day kind of thing. So yeah, that's funny. So that trailer is in our show notes for you guys to come take a look at if you want to in the IMAX thing. So yeah, I'm excited. We have Morbius next, and Moon Knight. I'm excited, but for movie wise, Doctor Strange is like my big one this year. That's what I'm really looking forward to. Gonna have a good time with that. But speaking of Morbius, Mike, not 5 hours ago, maybe 6 hours ago, my wife looked over at our TV on the wall and said, "That's a cool looking Morbius poster." And I said, "Oh, God damn it." She's like, "What?" I'm like, "I guess you don't know any different. Like we're into this. We understand. We don't know. But on the outside, we have to remember that there are people who just don't know and see Marvel and like, oh, it's a Spider-Man thing." Literally, like this new trailer, the final trailer we threatened you with last week actually came out, and it says, "From the minds or studio that brought you Spider-Man No Way Home." And did you though? This new trailer was released, and you were right, Mike, 100% right. How much Michael Keaton is in this trailer? A lot.
Probably more. All that they have.
Yeah.
Because I was being very eagle-eyed, and we obviously see the exact same scene again where he's in front of the police car, like in an alleyway. Then the other time we see him, he seems to be in a jail cell, one particular room. And then I think there's like a shot of Morbius escaping maybe a similar facility. So yeah. I'm starting to think that maybe in like Act 2 of the film, Morbius gets locked up, meets Michael Keaton for like a brief moment, a chat, then breaks out, and then we see Michael Keaton again at like the very, very end to kind of like just like dovetail the conversation together. Yeah. But I mean, I would be surprised if they're holding back and like Michael Keaton's a more prominent part of the film, but like the biggest elephant in the room is like, what's the explanation of Michael Keaton in this movie, right? Why is the Vulture in this Morbius universe?
Yep, exactly. Like, why? How does this tie to fucking Spider-Man? And I'm just tired of guessing and analyzing, but like, they just throw more Michael Keaton in there because they know people are going to talk about it. We're going to bring it up in these shows. He's like in a prison jumpsuit, right? Like Michael Keaton, like both times we see him, like he's not in a suit. He's not the Vulture. Are they going to give us the Vulture at any point in time? I don't know. I kind of thumbed through this, a couple of things, spots here and there. It's a very interesting trailer. They're showing a lot of like effects kind of throughout the whole thing. There's this big. They must have got a plug in on two things. One, things that turn into like traily mists, right? Like when Morbius is moving fast or flying. And two, whenever he transforms into Morbius. His little facial transformations. We're gonna watch it. My wife seems to be excited, but like she doesn't know a lot about it, so I'm excited to kind of go in and see her reaction and just kind of get this out of the way. But I don't think there's anything other big reveals in this, right? Other than possibly, I'm gonna guess the villain is a palette color swap version of him, played by Matt Smith, who yells at him. It's like, "I just want to live," or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you got it right, Chris. We're just trying to get it out of the way. That's the best way to sum it up.
I'm not excited. Now, there is some casting news for Kraven the Hunter this week, but nothing like newsworthy, I feel. But like I'm more excited to see Kraven the Hunter, simply because I feel like there's better actors and that's got a better story behind it. I'm not really feeling Morbius. Like why a vampire? Is this just another Jared Leto pet vanity project? Like you could pick any other character in Spider-Man's, arsenal or rogue gallery and do it. But Morbius just seems like a really, really weird thing to do of all the things to do of his villain. So I feel better for Craven, but I don't feel good for this. I also have a thing against Jared Leto, so it's hard for me to let go, if you will, of this. But anyway, that's our show notes. You can check that out below. Moving on, Alien, the franchise. Can't kill it, can you? There's a new film in the works from Fede Alvarez, who directed Don't Breathe, and Ridley Scott is to produce this. I didn't really care for the last 2 Ridley Scott Alien films, Alien Covenant, and
neither did I. He's trying to expand the universe far beyond what it can possibly prop up. But I didn't see Don't Breathe, but isn't that the kind of horror suspense movie where people, or is that where the people, they break into like a blind guy's house, or am I thinking of something different?
I think so. Yeah, I think they break into someone's house. Yes.
Either way, if it's a horror movie, that's probably a good director, right?
Well,
to helm an Alien movie.
He also directed the Evil Dead remake in 2013, which
okay.
I enjoyed. So I didn't watch The Girl in the Spider's Web. I believe isn't that
Girl with a Dragon Tattoo?
Yeah, Girl
movie?
with so he directed that one. So I feel like he's got some good stuff under his belt. I don't feel any problem.
I wonder if this movie is to tie into the Alien Apple Plus series in any way. Like, are we kind of relaunching the Alien universe?
Yeah.
Or taking a different time period kind of approach, like Star Wars, of just like, hey, well, if this isn't working out, let's just pick a different time period because this is space and things have been around for a long time. So.
Was it Apple TV or was it FX that was doing that?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't remember.
And FX is, and they're not doing a lot, but hopefully it is. I like the Alien franchise. As a whole, there are some hits, there are some misses, but like the mythology is there, right? Ridley Scott built a really good mythology when he started making these, and James Cameron continued in Aliens, and so on and so forth.
I think one thing I've always enjoyed about the Alien universe is the movies treat outer space more kind of like the wilderness, like what creatures, what mysteries are possibly out there, where I feel like there's a lot of interpretations of outer space in the science fictional world of just like, oh, what fun, different, unique things can we find out there in the universe, other societies, what else is out there. This is more like, though there's lots of danger out there, we're just trying to get to the sweet minerals inside of these moons, asteroids, and planets, and then there's like these vicious animals that are trying to kill us while we do it.
Well, and the whole point of it is the alien, it was Alien and Predator. Predator had like personality. Alien was just like this invisible beast that you just couldn't defeat no matter what you did, right? Like it was built to just to you could kill it, but it was built to kill you in every way, even its blood disintegrated stuff. Like it was just a perfect kind of design, and like they kind of got off the rails a little bit, and like there's eggs and it takes on the personality, whatever, and there's a queen and so on and so forth, but. I feel like you said, Alien is just a fresh 1980s. I hate to say fresh 80s in the same way, but a fresh 1980s thought on how the space and stuff looked and how that worked. So, I Prometheus, I think to me is fine. Alien Covenant was just awful. So I'm hoping that maybe this breathes some life into it, maybe moves the series forward rather than backward, if you will. In time. But even though they did the Alien 4, was the Alien Resurrection that was even farther forward? I don't know, man. Sorry. Get distracted. Did you watch the trailer for Bullet Train? I didn't even ask you if you watched this. I just put it in here.
This was exciting, Chris.
Yeah.
This was the very first time I had ever been in a theater, well, the first time in a long time, where like a premium, high budget, in your face movie trailer was ever premiered to me. In a movie, I was like, what is this? Wait a minute.
So you are lucky because I'm lucky I saw no trailers, but you're lucky because I didn't get to see this trailer in theaters.
Oh.
So I'm kind of jealous of your experience, Mike.
It was like I was like, oh, Brad Pitt, and I was like, oh, that other guy who's in Atlanta who plays Paperboy, and also he was
Eternals.
Fastos, was he Fastos?
He was Fastos. Yes, he was not fast.
Oh, I got it right because he's not fast. That's how I remember it in the movie. And I was like, oh, there's a train. And then I love this kind of personality that we're getting from the main character. And then saw the pop-up that is from the director of Deadpool 2.
David Lynch,
there's a lot going on here.
It's very high quality. I mean, Brad Pitt doesn't usually do duds, right? Like, he's hardly in a dud. And I guess was his last action film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you'd say, probably? Is that an action film?
If you could consider that action.
Yeah, so like he really does. It looks more like his Mr. and Mrs. Smith days, right? Like when he's doing gunfighting and stuff like that. But he's just so kind of laid back in this one. Like, it's pretty funny. I do enjoy watching this. Like, the first thing they tell you is like there's a quiet train or quiet car on the street. So like it looks like every car has a theme throughout this, right? Like, is that what the vibe you're getting from this bullet train? Like,
I think it's going to be more of a standard bullet train. I think the theme is going to be the characters that he has to go up against.
Right.
You know, there'll be like a different type of person and maybe at each car.
Right.
I do love his like laissez-faire attitude throughout the whole thing, though, like you were mentioning, where it's just like, like, it almost kind of gave me like this almost like Spike Spiegel vibe from Cowboy Bebop.
He kind of gives me he's dressed like the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas guy, right? With his little hat on, and it's like he's just like, yeah, whatever. Even though it's totally way far from that kind of thing with the violence here, but it looks like, you know, there's going to be gunfights, swords, a lot of Japanese reference, obviously, because it's a bullet train in Japan. Like, was it some samurai stuff kind of going on there for a little bit? Looks fun. I don't know much about it. I'm not trying to dive into it and dissect this one as much as, you know, we normally do, but it looks like a really good time, right? Like a Brad Pitt action film. Yeah,
this is what you call a tentpole movie. I believe it drops in July, like middle of the summer. Brad Pitt action movie, Deadpool director. I mean, this has got a lot going for it. So hopefully it's a fun time. Yeah, I'm very, very excited. Other than that, I don't have much else to go on. So I just know they've been teasing this, like, I think during the Super Bowl, they're like, we're going to release the Bullet Train trailer one day. Don't you worry. It's going to be a surprise, and you're going to love it. And then finally it just comes out. For me, it was just on YouTube. So love the build-up and the lack of suspense. But, yeah. Anyway, that's the episode, Mike. This is a very short week. We don't have a lot of news. We recorded our Batman, so we apologize for the shorter than usual episode. However, you get 2 episodes at the end of the day if you've watched the Batman, which we both say, go watch the Batman, right, Mike? If you get a chance, go watch it. But yeah, let's wrap it up. Let's get on with this. If people know what you're up to, what you're doing, where can they find you at? Well, they can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, people want to catch up with you. Where can they find you? You can find me on Twitter, Valdan, VALDAN, or Instagram, Valdan87. I didn't ask you, Mike, but you won't find me playing Elden Ring yet. Maybe later. I did watch someone play it this weekend, so that was pretty cool. People know more about the show, where they can listen to our Batman review or anything else. Where can they find all that good stuff at? Oh, all you got to do is head on over to superheroslate.com. That is the Bat Cave for the Superhero Slate podcast, to find everything that you could possibly need. Batarangs, show notes, upcoming releases, capes and cowls. You can get us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you love to listen to fine podcasts. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and you can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you. Please reach out and let us know what you're thinking about the landscape moving forward this year in 2020. I would say we're off with a bang for sure with this Batman movie, and also kind of trailing into 2020 with Spider-Man No Way Home. Things are really starting to pop off. Exactly. We love our super fans. So if you want to be a super fan of the show, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week, folks. That's right. And we'll catch you guys next week. Bye. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.